Alright, hello. As a lot of you will know, I'm a big Crash Bandicoot fan. And in recent years, June has been a big month for the Bandicoot, with Insane Trilogy, Crash Nitro Fueled and Crash Team Rumble all having June release dates. So I thought I'd go back and look at the long forgotten Crash game, the original Crash Bandicoot 4, The Wrath of Cortex. Whereas the original trilogy is widely praised, this one stands out as maybe the first misstep in the franchise, getting very mixed reviews. Is Wrath of Cortex really that bad? Let's take a look and see what all the fuss is about. So the game starts off with its usual premise. Uka Uka is upset at Cortex.
Nincompoops!
And oh god, what are these character models? This was the first Crash game on PS2, and yet the characters look so devoid of anything. They look lifeless and horrific. But anyway, basic plot is established, with Cortex making a Super Bandicoot and needing some crazy elemental masks to make it more powerful. So first set of levels, we begin with Arctic Antics. Really? A snow level? Your first level in the game, the introduction, the level you want people to see first, is a snow level. This is certainly not a basic tutorial level. Heck, the first time you encounter Nitro in the game, they put it on ice. So anyone new to the game will most likely slide right into it. Overall though, not bad. Let's hope the rest of the game is just like this. It's not gonna be, is it? No, not even close. As suspected, a horrible flying level. Didn't like them in Crash Bandicoot Warped? Don't really like this one. Just really boring and over really quickly. And now Crash is in a hamster ball. Okay, so 3 levels in and already 2 of them have been vehicle / crash in some kind of contraption levels. Very little platforming in this platforming game. However, I will admit, this hamster ball is one of my favourite new toys in the Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex video game. Look at him go as he flies around the course. I'll get him some Wumpa fruit to nibble on after this level. Back on track with Wizards and Lizards. Platforming again, and this time in a castle. A very classic Crash Bandicoot formula. We even get a chase sequence. Whereas in Crash Bandicoot Warped it was dinosaurs, this time it's a dragon. Completely different animals, I know. Wow, this is a completely different game. I am noticing the controls for Crash do feel very floaty. When you do a slide jump, he hangs in the air for a very long time. His jumps sometimes feel very hard to control where you're going to end up landing. It's certainly not the worst controls in the Crash Bandicoot franchise, but does take some getting used to after playing the original trilogy. After yet another vehicle section, it's time for the first boss fight in the game. These are always my favourite parts of any Crash game. Fighting a classic nemesis. Oh wait, it's just Crunch Bandicoot. So yes, every single boss in this game is Crunch. Even a boss fight that is basically just a rip-off of N. Gin in Crash Bandicoot Warped is now a Crunch boss fight. This was a big disappointment for a young classic. I always liked variety. If I get a box of chocolates, I don't just want one chocolate. I want all the different chocolates. And Crunch is just a load of plain chocolate, over and over and over again, getting in the way. Although he does share his name with a chocolate bar, so maybe he's a very crispy chocolate bar. I want Tiny Tiger, I want Engine, I want Entropy, I want Dingodile. I'm eating Dingodile chocolate right now. Oh, so delicious. Oh, they are in this game. Oh, goody. You know Tiny Tiger is a big threatening boss. Fantastic. Oh, wait, he just moves back and forward. For God's sake, what is wrong with this game?
Epic gameplay moment!
But it's fine. Let's have some positivity. After you beat each boss in the game, you get power-ups. And although 4 of them are just power-ups from the previous game, there is a brand new power-up, which is only in this game. It's very exclusive. Get ready for this. You can sneak on Nitro. I know, how exciting is that? It only comes up maybe 2 or 3 times in the whole game and is completely pointless and boring and slows down the gameplay. 10 out of 10, fantastic.
Epic gameplay moment!
Okay, second warp room. This introduces us to the first Coco level in the game. And although this isn't the first time she was playable in the series, it is the first time she is playable in a platforming level. And she just isn't as good as Crash. She doesn't get to use any of the same power-ups as Crash, so no double jump, no super spin, and no fruit bazooka. Seriously, what was they thinking?
Nincompoops!
Surely they could have made her equal in controls with Crash. But every Coco platforming level in the game just feels so much worse because of these poor controls. Meanwhile, more vehicles for Crash, including a submarine, an off-road buggy, a flying mosquito plane, and another submarine, again! Yep, 2 underwater levels in the same section. So already in the game, 10 levels, only 3 have been pure platforming levels. Also, a lot of the levels in the game are very wide, meaning you don't even have to kill most of the enemies. Why bother when you can just walk right around them?
Epic gameplay moment!
Just like in Crash Bandicoot Warped, you'll have interactions with each warp room boss. As we talked about earlier, all the bosses are Crunch, but each time he does get a different elemental mask. And it's honestly mind-boggling the talent they got to voice these masks.
Leave my levels alone!
Even Mark Hamill's in this game, for crying out loud.
I have a taste for some deep-fried Bandicoot.
Third warp room, and I am really feeling fatigued playing this game. But thankfully, this warp room has my favourite level in the whole game, the Gauntlet. It's exactly what I want from a Crash Bandicoot level. Let's hope it's a sign of things to come. Nope, we get another Coco platforming level. A race level in a buggy that understeers more than a cat on a freshly waxed floor, a decent hamster ball level, and yet another contraption to add to the list. This time, it's a helipack. They really are just throwing everything at the wall at this point and seeing if anything sticks. Unfortunately for them, the wall has just been waxed and has many kittens sliding all over it. We continue that pattern in Warp Room 4. Another Coco level. Although this one isn't that bad, the snowboarding section while being chased by the avalanche is a cool crescendo. And oh look, the monkey bar sections are back. I liked these in Crash Bandicoot Warped. They were fast and mix up the gameplay. And oh my god, why is it so slow here? Seriously, who designed this? And thought, yeah, that's the speed we want people to play through these sections at. I have seen snails run faster than this. By the time I get through these sections, Spyro 4 would have been announced.
Epic gameplay moment!
The only other new thing to make note of in this warp room is Coco gets a spaceship in yet another flying level. And it's as awful as you would expect. We finally get to the last set of levels, and overall, finally most of them are not filled with vehicles and nonsense. Some of them are among my favourite levels in the whole game. We get Gold Rush, a western themed level. But oh god, the slow monkey bars are back! No! At least there's some great music to help numb the pain. To be fair, the music in this game is pretty fantastic throughout. Something we all expect in a Crash Bandicoot game. Crash and Burn is another favourite level of mine. A nice platforming level where you ascend a volcano. With suicidal birds that explode and fantastic scenery. When this game tries to do good platforming, it does work very well. We of course get another hamster ball level, which again I do enjoy, as all of them are very fun to fly around on. I would say the fifth warp room is overall my favourite in the whole game. Sadly though, a lot of people would not have made it this far into the game. And plenty would not have made it this far into my review. So thank you to those that have stuck with me, and those that did make it this far into the game. We get our final boss fight. Not the hardest final boss really. Of course it's against Crunch, because every boss is against Mr. Plain Chocolate himself, Crunch Bandicoot. But the world is saved again. Hooray! Unless you really want to go mad and go for 100%, I honestly don't think it's worth it. 25 levels is more than enough. But if you want to be a crazy maniac, then go for all the relics, as that will open up 5 more levels for you to endure. I mean enjoy. This includes a level where you don't have to press a single button, and you'll get yourself a gem for beating Crunch in a race. Did they not check this? Did they really think this was fun?
Epic gameplay moment!
You can also race a chonky polar bear while flying your helipack, or a dedicated snowboarding level. Both are fine. They're just fine. After playing this game all day, I kind of have lost the will to be overly critical. I can see why people don't really enjoy this game, and despite all my criticisms, I would say overall it's okay. It's nothing great. Its over-reliance on gimmicks and vehicle sections is what lets it down the most. And with all these vehicle sections, they didn't even include a polar or pura level, which are my favourite types of levels outside of platforming. Pura is even in the cutscenes in this game, even if he does look terrifying. When it's pure platforming levels, it ends up being pretty good, but these moments are far and few between. Considering this was a new generation of console, it ends up just being a copy of Crash Bandicoot Warped, but just slightly worse in every aspect. It's still a 6 out of 10 type of game. It's that awkward middle child that everyone forgets. It's not unique or different enough to stand out like Twinsanity, and it doesn't really change any of the formula from previous games. But it's still fine. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. Is it as mediocre as I made it out to be, or is it one of your favourites? But for now, take care and leave me alone.